Goody everyone, this is Dayhawk, bringing to you episode 50 of Shaman King '01. So this episode begins with a hungry Anna, believe it or not, because she went into a restaurant and apparently uh, nobody is working. And they went back to the kitchen, and there's nobody there. And then you have Silva with his apron, Patch, Donald. Yeah, they're trying. It's McDonald's, only take away take away the Mac and just put Patch Donald's. Yeah. Anyway, reason being is supposedly Nichrom was supposed to be in charge of working the dining hall this week, but lately Nichrom has been kind of weird, according to Silva, and he's just wondering what's going on with him. And also, he was wondering, where is Ren? And it cuts to the scene where he is in the hot spring relaxing, and not until Horo and Choco Love, dressed as a cardboard, not a cardboard, but a cupboard, ends up ruining his relaxing time. Next thing you know, we get introduced to Necron in this version. He introduces himself and just plainly says, "My name is Necrom. My big brother was Chrome, whom you killed." And while Ren and Necrom was talking, typical Choco Love is made a joke, and of course Horo's like, "Are you for real right now?" He ends up kicking him. So Necrom is telling Ren that he needs to be saved by this woman named um Nomirai. Sorry if I butchered it. And they were talking about, you did bad things, but Nomirai is gonna save you, and once you confess your sins and not giving into the darkness, that sort of thing. And after Necron leaves, Chrome shows up like a ghost and ends up spooking poor Ren. And after the hot springs incident, it's not really an incident, but the encounter, the boys were talking, and poor Ren, he's just so embarrassed that that his guardian ghost points out that you're kinder than before. After all, you've changed. And the boys are like, oh, angry. Ren is gonna get mad. So he ends up fighting everybody in sight because he doesn't want to admit that he has changed. Meanwhile, though, there's like what looks like to be a campa right outside the place that Ren and the boys are staying. Wonder why. Next thing you know, we cut into the scene where there is looks like a castle, but it's more like a temple. And many shamans are drawn to this temple and you see this priestess, which I think is the girl that Nichrom said no yore no yore yo norai. Yeah, I'm gonna butcher this. Yeah. So you see her and her followers, and you see Silva just wondering what the hell is going on over here, and then Hal pops out of nowhere, and they're just talking about what's going on, and typical Hal is trying to provoke Silva because he likes to throw that I'm a distant relative, like you're my descendant, and Silva is like, screw you and all that. So he goes and just tries to approach the situation at the temple until he was stunned by a group of people, and he couldn't do anything at this point. And later that night, poor Ren is being tormented by nightmares, and he sees himself, his old self, killing Chrome and being tormented by that every single moment. And mind you, this just happened just now. And it's discovered that Kappa is doing some kind of spell over Ren. And the boys are heading towards the priestess's temple, hoping that he will get cured. Chocolate was like, are you sure that we need to do this? Can we just go to Yo and hopefully he can fix the problem? And Horo was like, no, like Ren said to not call on them for help, that if anything happens to me, go to her place. I don't know why Ren told them to do this, because obviously the right thing for them to have done is go to Yo and Anna and hopefully they could fix the problem. But I don't know. I think Ren is, you know how Ren is in both versions. He's trying to save face. He doesn't want help from anybody, but when he does, he's gonna like, I don't need any help. That sort of thing. But it's gonna get them into trouble. So they approach the temple. Nichrom is there. The priestess is there. And Horo was like, Chocolove, you stay behind. I will take Ren into the temple. Hopefully you'll get cured. But then Chocolove notices something about these 3 followers of the priestess, that something is really odd, but he can't put his fingers on it. And the priestess is reading Horo's mind or feelings, whatever, saying that he has darkness in his heart, just like Ren. And then she is piercing into his subconsciousness, because she ends up saying, "Oh, I'm no match for him after all." Him meaning, I guess, seeing Yo. I'm not strong enough. I am no match for him. Like, this priestess is seriously, like, reading through people's consciousness, seeing their darkest, like, their weaknesses, their doubts, their fears, and she exploits them. That's what she's doing here. Then the next morning, Yo and the gang are in the room where Horo was staying, and Horo just comes in, looks like in shocked or possessed, and he's like, "Oh, even if we fight again, I don't know if we win. I can't beat him, that sort of thing." And Yo tries to approach him, but he just tells him to stay away from him. So he's just really scared. But luckily, Anna came in and just knocked him out. And so Chocolove takes Horo back to the temple. And next thing you know, Team Ren is against the Dai Rei. Team Dai Rei. Yeah, I'm butchering these Japanese names, guys. I'm so sorry. And so you find it odd that Team Ren is almost gone, and then they announced that it's going to be their team versus a Dai Rei Dou. It's. Did you think it's coincidence or not? So Nichrom and Silva are talking, and Silva asks Nichrom, "Is why did you tell the team, the priestess, I mean, about their opponents in advance? Why did you do that?" And we all know why. It's kind of obvious now why Nichrom did what he did, and the methods of the priestess, because I just mentioned just earlier on that she exploits her opponent's weakness and turns it against them. And that's what Silva figured out. And you see Ren laying down in front of the priestess. Horo is all like happy-ish and on his knees, ready to, pray. And then Chocolove appears and just confronts the priestess that, what you're doing is wrong. And then Silva comes in and just announced that the fight's going to be right there in front of the temple, in front of everybody. It's not going to be in the arena. And pretty much tells everybody what I just said just now. Because I think it's evidence that every time the priestess's team faces an opponent, they end up surrendering and they automatically win. Reason being because she is exploiting people's weakness through her power. And also, by the end of it, ends up joining this little cult. She gets more followers by the day. And so the match has been settled. Team the Ren versus Dai Rei Dou. And Ren and Horo they look like they're drained, and the only person that can really turn the tide is Chocolove, which I don't doubt his strength, but you know how Ren is, that he views Chocolove as not as strong as he is. And so Chocolove fights these three priests or spirits. They look like priests to me. And as Horo was about to help out, unfortunately his attack went from the spirits to his teammates. And then Ren turns super giant, and even that did not help because you see him just fall off a cliff, because you can see how the priestess's powers are affecting Horo Horo and Ren, and it's not too good. And so Choco Love and his, typical Choco Loveness decides to fight her in another way. So Mickey turns giant and he ends up dancing. In some dancing. And he uses the pawn of darkness in the heart and turns it to the dancing goat. Yeah, if it's in Japanese, so I'm guessing that's where the pun is right there. Because in English, it's like, what? I'm missing something here. But yeah. So he turned the darkness in the heart into the dancing goat. And the priestess was like, nobody would laugh at a joke like this. But Horo and Ren, it's like, that idiot. They don't rhyme at all. And apparently the love of laughter, or the wind of laughter, I think whatever it is, ends up breaking the spell, and you could see Horo and Ren back to their normal selves, and ends up defeating the priestess's team quickly. But then it was discovered that the spirits that supposedly was spirits were just made out of stone. So the priestess's match, well, it's rendered like she is disqualified because of what happened here, because we assumed that there were spirits or people, whatever, but they're stone. They're made up of stone, and because of that, she's disqualified. And then we have our happy ending. And so we have team the yo-yos are at the restaurant eating, and then Chocolove comes in with the priestess with a different outfit. And what ends up happening at the very end is that Ryu just takes the girl and throws Manta off like a piece of trash, and let the girl sat on Manta's chair and gives her flowers. Oh man, that was funny. And Silva's right outside, and he's just worried because he kind of wonders if this is all part of the Great Spirits' plan, because he says at the very end that, is this the Great Spirit's wish for these wonderful children to be defeated by Hao? I mean, think about that. I don't think so, but it's just, it goes by in real life terms that if you guys are religious, you guys always use the term that God has a plan. God has a reason as to why things are the way they are. And there's things in this world that we will never get the reason why things happen. You will never get it. And in this case, it's just one of those things. But we all know at the very end what's going to happen with them. So there's no need to worry. It was a good episode, and believe it or not, the remake and this one, with the episodes are concerned, they're eerily close. Because in the last episode of the reboot, Ren gets revived, but he gets reminded of his decision of killing Nichrom. In this case, too, it's the same thing. The only difference is he didn't have that near-death experience, at least not yet, and here he was tormented by, the Kappa spirit. So it's eerily matching up, like lining up. So I enjoyed it for what it was. We get to see Nichrom officially, and yeah, that's it. Did I miss anything? If what is it that you like about this episode? If you've seen it, did you like it? Did you dislike it? You know the drill, guys. You know the drill. Give a like if you like it. Give a dislike if you don't like it. That's it. Simple as that. So anything else? I think that's it. Well, guys, thank you for sticking around. And I will see you all on the other side of Oblivion. Johnny!